I got muted again. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our service this morning. Welcome to the coming days of growing light. Welcome to the coming days of growing hope. Welcome to the joy of being here together in beloved community. I invite you to take a deep breath and cross the threshold into worship this morning.
I believe in hope. I believe in hope. And I will, yes, I will keep on hoping. I believe in hope. I believe in hope. And I will, yes, I will keep on hoping.
The clouds begin to clear, the horizon starts to glow. The time has come. Holy One, we thank you for the glimpses we have seen of the promise of a better day, even as we may still fear. We still feel hope, igniting the flame of joy within us, and we have glowed with its brilliance from the inside out.
I believe in joy. I believe in joy, and I will, yes, I will keep on singing.
Help us continue to proclaim far and wide that the time has come for justice and joy to be among all people. Our chalice lighting this morning is by Lois Van Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come. Renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention. Now, this is my last Sunday service before sabbatical. And so my worship team suggested that I choose my favorite hymn for our opening song this morning. So of course, I chose number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. And so as Olga plays and sings, will you join in with yourselves muted?
My life flows on in endless song of Barbara's love intention. I hear the real of heart of hymns that hails the friends rejoice both far and near. How can I keep from singing to praise and songs and conjure more all thoughts to them are running when friends were shining on the flood? How can I keep from singing?
Each week in December, we have had a family offer this I Believe moment. And this week we have Lexi Sleeper and Winslow Haley sharing a moment that they recorded for us.
Hi, who are you guys?
I'm a sleeper.
How old are you guys?
I'm 11. 6.
What about this time of year? What are we doing in our house?
Cleaning.
In a holiday sense.
Oh. Putting up decorations and giving people gifts. And wrapping gifts.
How does it feel to give presents?
Nice. It's fun.
Winslow, how do you think people should be treated?
Nicely, and less like this too. Like you just sort of be like sort of grumpy, maybe.
They stole
You mean
something.
if someone stole something, you can treat them nice but grumpy nice?
Yeah, sort of.
If someone stole something, you shouldn't treat them like with like utmost kindness, but you should treat them not mean either. You should treat them like kind of strictly. Like it's weird if you die, like do you think again like as a different person? Like what happens to your brain and conscience after you die?
That is a great question.
It's so strange to think about.
Come on.
I've never seen a real ghost.
Yeah, I've never seen a real ghost.
Unless you count Whiskers when his eyes like all shine in the light and he looks
That's like a demon.
He looks like a possessed demon.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I've seen a possessed demon, but not a ghost.
Do you guys miss going to church?
Yeah.
Yes.
Winslow, you were telling me all about the church building the other day. Do you remember the story you told me? What were you remembering? We talked about jumping up and down on the stage.
Oh, all of the secret passageways.
Steve, anything you want to add to the fine folks of our church?
Have a pet cat, you're lucky.
Something on a spiritual level, maybe? Pets are good for the soul.
Yes, pets are therapeutic. Especially during Corona because you're stuck at home and bored sometimes. So you should find your pet and snuggle it. Because that's fun.
To some people.
I can't tell if I'm muted or unmuted. Okay. Thank you to all our families that shared with us this month. It was really lovely. Our story this morning is An Unusual Gift from My Grandfather by Rachel Naomi Remen. Often when he came to visit, my grandfather would bring me a present. These were never the sort of things that other people brought to me, like dolls and books and stuffed animals. And my dolls and stuffed animals had been gone for more than half a century, but of all of my grandfather's gifts, they are with me still. Once, he brought me a little paper cup. I looked inside it expecting something special. It was full of dirt. I was not allowed to play with dirt. Disappointed, I told him this, and he smiled at me. He picked up a little teapot from my doll's tea set and took me to the kitchen where he filled it with water. Back in the nursery, he put the little cup on the windowsill in my room and handed me the teapot. If you promise to put some water in the cup every day, something will happen, he said. At the time, I was only 4 years old, and my nursery was on the 6th floor of an apartment building in Manhattan. This whole thing made no sense to me at all. I looked at him. He nodded with encouragement. Every day, he told me. And so I promised. At first, curious to see what would happen, I did not mind doing this. But as the days went on and nothing changed, it got harder and harder to remember to put the water in the cup. After a week, I asked my grandfather, "Is it time yet?" Shaking his head no, he said, "Every day, every day." The second week was even harder, and I became a little resentful of my promise to put water in the cup. When my grandfather came to visit again, I tried to give it back to him, but he refused to take it, saying simply, "Every day, every day." By the third week, I began to forget to put water in the cup. Often I would remember only after I had been put to bed, and I would get out of bed and run over and put water in the dark. But I did not miss a single day. And one morning, I went over to the cup and there were 2 little green leaves that had not been there the night before. I was completely astonished. Day by day, they got bigger. I could not wait to tell my grandfather. Certainly he would be as surprised as I was. But of course he was not. Carefully, he explained to me that life is everywhere, hidden in the most ordinary and unlikely places. I was so delighted. "And all it needs is water, Grandpa?" I asked him. Gently, he touched me on the head. "No," he said, "all it needs is faithfulness." This was perhaps my first lesson in the power of service, but I did not understand it then in this way. My grandfather would not have used those words. He would have said that we need to remember to bless the life around us and the life within us. He would have said that when we remember that we can bless life, we can repair the world. May it be so. Here ends our story.
So wonderful to be together in community and hold each other in love. And we sing together, "Draw the Circle Wide."
Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle
Oh, I'm so grateful to all who make our services what they are, to everyone who shares in joys and sorrows, to all who record music and present videos and PowerPoints, to those who are readers and technology helpers, and to our fabulous worship think tank that meets every Wednesday to share ideas and figure out ways to help make worship meaningful and rich. And if this sounds good to you, please contact Dennis Duquette or Chris Woodcock, and they can help you join the fun. It was at one of these worship brainstorm meetings that Chris mentioned that our last Sunday together of 2020 was the day after Boxing Day. Boxing Day is celebrated in Chris's native Canada and many other countries around the world. It's a day to give to the less fortunate. Way back during the Victorian era in Britain, the traditional celebration of Boxing Day included giving money and other gifts to charitable institutions, needy individuals, and people in service jobs. The holiday may date from the Middle Ages with the lords and ladies of England who presented Christmas gifts in boxes to their servants on December 26th. Or it may have begun with priests who opened the church's alms or charity boxes on the day after Christmas and distributed the contents to the poor. 26th of December is also called St. Stephen's Day. The Apostle Stephen was appointed to distribute food and charitable aid to poorer members of the community in the early Christian church, and thus became the patron saint of charity to the poor. St. Stephen's Day is the feast of Stephen mentioned in the English Christmas carol, Good King Wenceslas, which is today's anthem. As a young girl, Good King Wenceslas was one of my favorite songs. By 7th grade, I could sing every verse from memory. I was inspired by the idea that a king would feel moved to not only give to the poor, but to leave the comfort of his warm castle and risk his life in a blizzard to deliver food, drink, and firewood to the peasant's home himself. Our anthem today is a tribute to that spirit of giving of oneself. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even. Brightly shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel, when a poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hither, page, and stand by me, if thou know'st it telling, yonder peasant, who is he, where and what his dwelling? Sir, he lives at Good he kens, underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes' fountain. Bring me meat and bring me wine, bring me pine logs thither, thou and I shall see him dine, when we bear them thither. Page and monarch, forth they went together, through the rude winds well the ment, and the bitter weather. Silent night is darker now, and the wind blows stronger, fails my heart, I know not how, I can go no longer. Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread thou in them boldly, thou shalt find the winter's rage freeze thy bloodless coldly. In his master's steps he trod, where the snow lay dinted, heat was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore all good folk be sure, wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing. Ah, 4 years ago, when we were on the brink of learning who had won the 2016 presidential election, I preached a sermon titled, "We Were Made for Times Like These." We didn't know what challenges we would be facing in the next few years, but the divisive and contentious response to the election campaigns made it clear that whoever won, we would be in for some hard stuff. It's probably a good thing we had no way to envision exactly how hard, how painful, how devastating, or how deadly our challenges would turn out to be. The past 4 years have not been for the faint-hearted. But we stepped up, each in our own way and as a congregation, to learn, to grow, to campaign, to advocate in town meetings, to nurture and support others through a pandemic like no other in our lifetime, to give, to survive, to thrive. We stepped up in times like these. And it's not over. We have monumental challenges ahead, much work to do to repair and rebuild. And in the need for rebuilding, the question is, do we try and make everything like it was before? Or do we try to build things back better than before? Do we try to go back to normal? Or do we put our weight behind a sea change, a major shift, a great turning? We have a few more months of isolation before us. Do we just endure it? Or do we use it to reassess, to find out exactly what it is that we were made for in times like these? Turns out from what I've been reading that being of service to the world is exactly the best way to weather these challenges in a healthy way. According to the Vox article, Pandemic Winter is Hard, Here's How to Feel Happier Despite COVID-19 by Sigal Samuel, instead of thinking about the myriad negative feelings that you want to avoid, try thinking about a single organizing principle that is highly effective at generating positive feelings across the board. Shift your focus outward. What does the world need that you are uniquely positioned right now to offer? Samuel suggests 3 practices that can turn your outlook around, and all of them can make a difference for good in the world, can help turn our world from night to day, can help us reach that tipping point. Who knows? Maybe we can help usher in that age of Aquarius that some of us have been longing for years. So now, right now is the time to find your gifts. Find that thing you were born to do in times like these. If you don't know what that is, or if you want to expand your reach, perhaps now is the time to journal or sit in your self-care chair and ponder or pray or talk with a special friend and explore where your passion coincides with the needs of the world, or even the needs of one person. The 3 practices the article suggests that can help boost your happiness by focusing outward are: 1, cultivate a practice of serving others. People who help others end up feeling more connected and become happier. And people who vary their kind acts show an increase in happiness immediately afterward and up to 1 month later. So in addition to what you're most comfortable with, challenge yourself to try some new way of showing kindness, even if you aren't up for sallying forth in a blizzard to do it. 2, cultivate a sense of purpose. Psychologists have found that having a clear purpose is one of the most effective ways to cope with isolation. Pick a thing that feels important to you and is doable, and throw yourself into it. Whether it is leading an initiative in the church, your neighborhood, your family, political life, your workplace, whatever it is, no matter how grand or humble the cause, find the thing that makes it feel worth it to you. 3, cultivate a sense of inspiration, which can take the form of gratitude, curiosity, or awe. What are you deeply grateful for? What do you wonder about? What is wonderful and awe-inspiring? Take the time to discover what these things are for you and commit to make room for them in your life. This is what I intend to do in the next few months: to find my center outside of myself by going within and exploring where and how I am called to do that in my life and my ministry with you. I will be starting my sabbatical on January 1st, just 5 days from now. People ask me what my plans are. The short answer is to become a better minister. The long answer is this: it is said that the work of ministry is in the self, and I am realizing more and more the truth of that statement. Over the past year, in both my personal and professional life, I have navigated some big changes and have had to dig deep to find the inner resources to grow in resilience, courage, and understanding. And so my goal is to use my sabbatical to tune and align myself for ministry, and to work on habits that will provide a firm foundation for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual wholeness. If I do this well over the next 3 months, the minister who will return to you on Easter Sunday will be refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to walk with you through the challenges ahead, to build stronger connections and relationships, to deepen our mutual support and widen our circle of welcome, to face difficulties with full trust in each other's motives and good intentions, to celebrate and learn from our past, and to dream and work toward a better tomorrow, to walk always toward each other in love. So, dear friends, believe this: the time has come. The time to live into the spirit of our hymns of resistance that we've been singing all this month. Even after the carols have faded and we move on towards some sense of new life, we will have much to do to continue to rebuild lives. African American theologian Howard Thurman said, "When the songs of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins to find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among others, to make music in the heart." I suggest this is our work when 2020 fades into the background and we walk into 2021. The time is now to enter into this, our work, the work we were made for. May we enter into this new year so pregnant with promise, ready to find what we truly believe is ours to do, understanding that in this great turning, the time has come. May we embrace both justice and joy, and help each other keep our flames alight, so we may glow from the inside out, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, and ready. thanks to Lynda Clark for that lovely winter ballad. And now we have our final litany of belief. I will say the leader part. Feel free to join Deborah with your microphones muted for the part of the people. I believe we each have times when we are beaten down.
Believe this, we are so much stronger together.
I believe that we are weary and battered this year more than most.
Believe this, the deep joy of community can always be present, even in hard times.
I believe that our fear and divisiveness has eroded trust.
Believe this, we can hold on to the things that we have in common.
I believe that we can feel so powerless.
Believe this, small acts of kindness and help do make a real difference.
I believe we are often discouraged.
Believe this, that when we are discouraged, raising our voices for justice will offer more hope, more love, more peace, and more joy to us and to the world.
Believe with a grateful heart.
Believe and shine your light.
Our final hymn of resistance for this series is number 327 in our silver hymn book, a hymn I had never sung before. The tune is Ode to Joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It reminds us that joy itself is an act of resistance. Joy, thou goddess, affirms our determination to not just survive, but to thrive and to spread joy and hope to all whom we can.
Joy, thou goddess, fair, immortal, offspring of Elysium, led with rapture to the portal of thy holy fame we come. Fashion's law indeed may sever, but thy magic joins again. Humankind is one forever, is thy mild and gentle reign. Joy in nature's wide dominion, mightiest cause of all is found, and 'tis joy that moves and pinion when the wheel of time goes round. From the bud she lures the flowers, out from all the orbs of light. 'Tis that spirit of fatal power, far beyond the mortal sight.
And so, with those phrases ringing in our ears, let us keep the flame of joy burning bright within us, that we might glow with its brilliance from the inside out. May we continue to raise our voices through our love and our tears, because now is the time. May we claim the hope that we can do what needs to be done to bring more light into the world. We believe the time is now. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
Carry Carry the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet the flame of peace and love. Carry the flame again.
All right. Half our offering again today will go to the minister's discretionary fund. Information on how to give is in the chat bar. So if you can add to our offering, your gift will be gratefully received. And it's time for our coffee hour chat rooms, and then we will come back together and say goodbye, our final goodbye in 2020. Pam, will you invite us to our breakout rooms?
Okay, bye.